You may proceed, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Okay po. All right, so good afternoon, STEM Darwin. How are you feeling today? Kindly type in your emojis that represent your feelings for today here in our chat box. Let me see who are already in front of their devices. I also encourage you to please open your camera so I could also see happy faces of students who are also excited to learn today. Wow, there are many happy faces, happy emojis there. So let's all have a positive mind and happy mind so that we can learn lots of things today. So to start our session, let's ask first the guidance of our Lord. Let's say this prayer. Thank you for ways in which you provide for us all. Thank you for your protection and love. As we gather today virtually, may you guide us and help us understand all the lessons our teacher will teach us. Guide us to always do our best in every situation. May all that we do bring glory to you. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. All right, so let's now have our attendance check. So Miss Nicole Diaz, kindly give us a summary of the class attendance for today.
Good afternoon, ma'am. As of now, there are already 41 students over 41 present in the meet.
Wow, very good. So we have a perfect attendance for today. So now we can begin with our first activity, and I titled this Before and After. So all you have to do is to identify the difference between the two pictures that I'm going to show you. All right, let's start with these two pictures. We have here before and after. What do you think is the difference between these two pictures? You may raise your hand if you want to answer. Yes, Pascual.
In the first picture, the rock formation forms something like an arch, and then in the after, it the arch kinda erodes or it disappears.
Yes, there's no more arc here or a bridge structure here in the after picture. That's good. It's correct. How about this one? The second picture. Yes, Flores.
Ma'am, based on the picture, I think this one is the Sphinx in Egypt, and based on the first picture, I think it was the newly constructed Sphinx back then before the Common Era, and the second one is based on the picture. The nose of the Sphinx was gone. I think it is because of it is eroded, and I think.
Very good observation. How about the last picture? Can you tell me the difference? Yes, Flores.
Mom, just like on the first picture, there's some sort of like a bridge, on the before picture, and the after, I think it collapsed.
Yes. All right. So now my question is, what caused these changes in rocks and landforms? Yes, Camposano.
I think po the cause of these changes in rocks and landform is weathering because since weathering is the process of breaking down rocks that can also deform the rocks po.
That is right. So, weathering is actually the process by which rocks on or near Earth's surface break down and change. So, the very first process that happened to these structures and landforms that you saw is weathering. And usually we confuse it with erosion, right? So, weathering is actually the breaking down of rocks in its place, while erosion is the transport of the material from one place to another. So, what happened to those landforms there that you have seen and our rocks that you have seen earlier are because of weathering and also erosion. So today, that is actually our main topic. That is our agenda. So here is our objectives. So for the milk, this is describe how rocks undergo weathering. And by the end of the online session, 80% of the learners or 80% of you will be able to, number one, identify changes that took place to rocks or landforms because of weathering, differentiate physical and chemical weathering, explain how each type of weathering changes the rock's properties, express realization of the positive and negative effects of weathering. And lastly, you'll be able to participate actively in the class discussions and group activity for today. So let's now proceed to our activity number 2, and I titled this The Weathering Experts. So all you have to do is to proceed to your designated Zoom breakout room. I know you are already in your breakout room, and just join your group there. And then later you are going to brainstorm with your group mates to answer the activities assigned to your group. All right. All the materials that you need are already posted in the Google Classroom. So please check your Google Classroom for the materials. And then after 15 minutes, you are going to present your output and answer the essential questions assigned to your group. So after that, just like what I said, you have a 2-minute presentation. You're going to present an overview of your group's task, and you're going to present your final answer to the essential question. Right? So what are the essential questions that you have to answer? First, what are the two types of weathering? How do they differ? What are the different kinds of physical weathering? Give a short description for each kind. The same with group 3. Group 4, how do rocks weather chemically? And lastly, why is weathering an important earth process? Okay, so I'll be going around your room. I will be observing each group later so that I can also give you scores based on these rubrics. Okay, so these are your performance indicators. So this is how you will be graded. Collaboration with your peers. Okay, concept understanding and the accuracy of the content. So hopefully all of you will get 4 for your performance or for your presentation later. So this is also posted or included in the Google Classroom so that you can check it from time to time. All right. Any question before we proceed with our group activity?
None po.
All right. So I think you are now ready. So please mute your microphone here in Gmeet, and you can turn on your microphone in Zoom. Right. Again, from time to time, I will be visiting your breakout room. So again, stay in the Meet, but you are already grouped in the Zoom. I'll be visiting your room there later. Okay, so let me now check each room. And I'll be giving you 15 minutes, right? So the countdown starts now. So let me join room 1 first. Let's see if you're already there. You can turn on your camera so that you can collaborate well with your group mates. Yeah, you can also share a screen so that you can work with your assigned activity sheets. Now let me move to group number 2. Let me go to group 2 or room number 2.
Leader, ikaw na.
There. Very good. So they are collaborating. Good job. How about group number 3? That's right. They're already working on their activity sheets. Very good. Let's go to group 4. I think they're now serious working on their activity sheets. Next, let's have group number 5.
Pa ba? Basta yung, ano, yung mga answer niyo, pakalagay na lang sa chat box para ma-summarize na ni Hannah. Yan.
Very good, group 5. So now I'll go back to room 1. Earlier, I didn't see them working on their assigned task. Let's see. Okay, let's join group number 2. It's taking too long to join. Let's wait.
Sure, okay, kasi wala akong okay, lagay na lang.
There, they are talking already. How about your group 3? Let me check again, group 3.
Kaya, very
I think they're very serious working on their activity sheets. They're already typing in their answers to the questions. Let's now go to group 4. They're also serious working on their activity sheets. That's good. How about the last group?
Kakanta kami.
Kakanta
Kapag
lang daw
bigyan
si
natin ng
Ben.
lyrics na to, yeah. Sulat ko na lang.
I'm happy to see that they are collaborating. Now I'll go back to group 1. I didn't see them talking earlier. Good. So he's sharing his screen so that they can work on the activity sheet. That's good. So as I can see, they're almost done. I'll now go to group 2 if they are already working on their activity sheets. I think they're still busy. Let's go to group 3. Or maybe they are chatting to one another or using the chat box. Group 3, I can also see here. some changes in their activity sheets. Very good. So it means that you are working on your activity sheets. Let's go to group 4. They are also busy working on their activity sheets. You can actually turn on your microphone and also your camera so that you can see one another. How about the last group? Let me check.
Hindi, dun sa ano, sa document.
Oh, meron.
Hello. Very good. So I can see some progress in for group number 5.
Check mo.
Wait.
Ay, wait, saan mo lalagay?
So, yung sinend ko sa'yo sa messenger na lyrics. Lagay mo sa document na crush yung PC ko.
I'll join group 1 again to check them. To check on them. Very good. So they are already answering their activity sheets. And as I can see, the leader is sharing his screen so that they can work on their activity sheets together. Very good. Group 3. Let me check group number 3. Very good. So they are also sharing screen so that they can work on the Canva document together. It's good that I have given you that material and you can work on it simultaneously. Very good. I can see that all of the members are typing their answers. Very good. Group 3. Group number 2. Let me check.
Guys, vibration and biological chuchu. Yun lang yung sa atin.
Group number 4 instead. Just one moment. Group 4, you're so busy, right? So you're already working on your activity sheets there. So maybe they're typing in their answers. You can also share your screen so that everybody can see the progress of your work. Next, group 5. So last 4 minutes for all the groups.
Yan, okay.
Okay, good. Group 5. I'll go back to group 1. Let me check them again. Group 1. Yeah, so they're the ones that I saw earlier who is working on their activity sheet. Let me go to group number 2 now. Group 2, you can share your screen. You can talk to one another so that you can work on your activity sheets and your presentation also. Right. So again, just like what I said, I showed you the rubrics, right? So you should be collaborating. Now let's go to group number 3. Group number 3. Group number 3, good. They are already working on their final answer. They're almost done. Okay, so now we only have 2 minutes to work on your activity sheets and your presentation. Last 2 minutes for everyone. Let's go to group 4 before the time stops. Group 4. Okay. So reminding everyone, after 2 minutes, you will be automatically removed from your group. So I hope you are now wrapping up your answers or already finalizing your answers and your presentation.
Yung sa screenshot,
Okay, group 5.
ilalagay lang doon yung gawa natin.
Very good. Group 4. Group 5. Okay, last 1 minute for everyone. Again, you will be automatically removed to your group.
Hi.
Okay, so I think they're already finalizing their answers. So again, last 30 seconds, automatically you will be removed from your group and you will go back to the main session. After that, you can now
Sagot ka na sa 2.
Okay, so let me now go to the main room. Last 10 seconds for everyone. All right, so time is up. So you can now go back to the main room and you can now close Zoom. We will now proceed here to Gmeet for the presentation of your answers in the activity sheets. All right, so let me now share my screen. Okay, so again, reminding everyone of the rubrics, right, that I've told you earlier. So for your presentation, there should be concept understanding and accuracy of the content, and you should be able to answer the essential questions. So let me share this Canva document here. So this is the one that you're working on earlier, right? You worked simultaneously to answer this Canva document. Just one moment. All right, so let's now start your presentation. Group number 1, you may now start. Leader is Mr. Tolosa. Go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We are the group 1, and the question assigned to us is, what are the 2 types of weathering and how do they differ? As you can see, there are 2 pictures here. Picture A, an Alka-Zester tablets cut into different sizes, and picture
where Alka-Seltzer tablets, whose main ingredients are aspirin and other um, substances, are deep dropped into water. So the questions here are, what is what is your definition on physical changes and chemical changes? Physical changes are only acceptable, or it changes only the appearance of the substance and not its chemical composition. It's while the chemical substance, while the chemical changes are changes in the chemical structure of the substance. And the picture A shows the physical changes. It is also called as the physical weathering, while the second picture, picture B, shows the chemical weathering.
And yes, and for your final answer?
The final answer is the picture A shows a physical change. The Alka-Seltzer tablets have undergone physical changes because they went from a full circular tablet to being cut into different shapes and sizes bubble of. And the picture B shows a chemical change when the Alka-Seltzer was dropped into water. It created with water and created a fizz or bubble of gas. And the definition of mechanical weathering, or also called as physical weathering, and this aggregation causes rocks to crumble. It is caused by the effects of changing temperature on rocks, causing the rock to break apart. The process is sometimes assisted by water, and the chemical weathering changes the molecular structure of rock and soil. It is caused by rainwater reacting with the mineral grains in rocks to form new minerals and soluble. This reaction occurs particularly when the water is slightly acidic. That is all po.
Thank you, group number one. So you have given us a very comprehensive explanation. You can also simplify your answer by answering the essential question, right? So what are the two types of weathering? So we have the physical and the chemical weathering, right? So physical weathering is just like the same as physical change. Only the size or the shape of the rock will change, but its composition will not change. While chemical weathering, there is a transformation of the rock, of the composition of the rock. Okay, so there is already a change in its composition or in its minerals, right? Thank you so much, group one. Let's now proceed to the presentation of group number two. Go ahead, group number two. And the leader is Abringe.
So, good morning, everyone. For group number two, we are assigned the essential question: what are the different kinds of physical weathering, and give a short description of each kind. So, first, a brief overview in our activity. In the first, we are given a table, and as answered, the type of physical weathering is frost weathering and salt crystal growth. And the agent or the cause of weathering in frost weathering is water, and its effect on rocks is the contraction and repeated contraction and expansion of the water causes the rock to split. So in crosswedding, the water repeatedly goes to its liquid and solid state that therefore pry the rocks apart. And this in the salt crystal growth, its agent is salt, and the salt crystals, when it grows, it puts pressures on the rocks, and the rock breaks apart. And next, um, so this is our each of the members' answers as we presented here, and for our final answer, to finally to answer the main question, the two types of physical weathering, the first two types is frost wedging, and when water gets inside the joints, the alternate freezing and thawing of the water pry the rocks apart. In salt crystal growth, the forces exerted by the growth of crystals formed by water as it evaporates, the spaces and cracks in the rocks cause the rocks to fall apart. And also, I would like to add in this, the frost wedging and salt crystal growth falls under the physical weathering, since in the process of physical weathering, rocks are only physically broken into smaller pieces due to force. And based on what we explained earlier in the definition of frost wedging and salt crystal growth, the frost wedging is the repeated expansion of the contraction of water, and the salt crystal growth is the pressure from the growth of the crystal. So there's only force. So this is under the physical weathering, since the rocks are being weathered without any alteration of its chemical composition. Thank you.
Wow, very good. Amazing explanation for that. Very good. So again, there are types of physical weathering. So the first one that they have discussed is frost wedging. So again, it's freezing and thawing, right, of water. And because of that repeated freezing and thawing, the rocks breaks apart, right? Because when water freezes, it expands, right? While for the salt crystal growth, when the seawater goes through the pores of the rocks and it evaporates, the salt crystal will grow and this will also expand the rocks, causing it to break down. Right, great job, group number 2. So before I forget, so I'll be giving 10 over 12 for group number 1 for their presentation, by the way. And for group number 2, you got 12 over 12. Right, so let's now go to group number 3. Please proceed with your presentation. The leader is Beruan. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So we are the group 3. So our activity is assigned is the type of physical weathering. The biological activity or root wedging agent cause of weathering is plants, specifically plants and roots, and the effect of on rocks is exert pressure on rocks. Cracks are formed in rocks as the roots expand through it. And another type of physical weathering is abrasion, and the agent or cause of weathering is wind, and the effect of it on rocks is the rocks become smoother as rough and jagged edges break off. So for the guide question, the definition of the this is the biological weathering is takes place under the influence of activities of organisms. The organic processes involve biological dissolutions of rocks from bacterial activity, humic acids, and bioerosion or destruction. The changes occur by the growth of roots and penetration in organisms of shells, lichens, cyanobacteria, algae, and the fungi in the rocks on which they nurture. And for the wind abrasion is the process of the wearing away of a solid object due to impact of particles carried by the wind, or the wind picks up particles and moves them. And next is why biological activity and wind abrasion are under physical weathering. Biological activity and wind abrasion are under physical weathering as they include the use of physical characteristics such as the presence of wind and plant movements. This process both change the rock physical form without changing its chemical composition. That's all po. Thank you.
Thank you very much, group number 3. So they have also given us correct explanation of the other 2 types of physical weathering. So I will also be giving them 12 over 12 for based on our rubrics. So again, the 2 types of physical weathering that they've discussed are biological activity. So this could be caused by plants and also by animals, right? So for the plants, the roots can grow through the cracks of the rocks, and it will cause the rock to break up or to break down. While for the animals can also cause the rocks to break down by applying force on them, right? So let's go to the next one. Abrasion is another physical weathering that was assigned to them. And abrasion is when the wind or the water comes in contact with the rock, and this will cause, because of the force coming from these 2 agents, it will cause the rock to break down. Okay, thank you again, group number 3. Let's now go to group number 4. Group number 4 leader is Tolfo.
So our group is assigned in types of chemical weathering. So there are 3 types of chemical weathering. There is dissolution, hydrolysis, and oxidation. In dissolution, water reacts with soluble minerals in rocks, and over time this process causes these minerals to be dissolved and create underground caverns. And the second type is hydrolysis. The rocks when the rock is exposed in water, the rocks becomes clay. The rocks break down as it interacts with the water. Then oxidation is when the rock interacts with water and oxygen, the color becomes red or rust colored. The resistance to weathering decreases. As rust expands throughout the surface, it breaks apart. Then, in next slide po,
For your final answer?
yes po.
Okay.
So the essential question is how do rocks weather chemically? So our our group's final answer is chemical weathering may be caused by different agents water or water or oxygen, with soluble minerals that rocks have, while water and oxygen can affect the rocks by becoming red or rusty. And these different agents affect the rocks also differently based on what type of chemical weathering it is. And it will cause the rocks to break apart. And I repeat, the three types of chemical weathering are dissolution, hydrolysis, and oxidation. That's all po.
Great job, group number 4. As I can see here also, they have included the answers of their members here. So very good. So I could see really a great effort for all the group mates coming from the group mates or for the member of the group. So good job, group 4. I'll be giving your group 12 over 12 for that. Okay. So what was assigned to them? Assigned to them was the types of chemical weathering. So there are 3 types. So the first one is dissolution. Dissolution is from the term itself. Dissolution came from the word dissolve, right? So when the minerals in rocks are dissolved by water, there are changes in its composition. While hydrolysis, if water became acidic and it comes in contact with the rocks, it changes also the rock's composition. For the oxidation, if the oxygen mixed with water comes in contact with the rocks, and if that rock contains iron, then it will be rusty, or there will be rust will form on the rocks, and it will also cause the rock to break down chemically. All right. So now let's go to our last group. Group number 5. So for group number 5, leader is Maranan. Go ahead, Maranan.
So, hi, good morning. So, we've been asked by this question, why is weathering an important Earth process? The first slide shows the worksheets that we've worked on, which is the song analysis and then the question analysis. And we've worked on, and here you can see in the next slide, which is, yes, ma'am, next slide. And the next slide is the answer of my group mates. Show someone answered weathering is important because it is a process that contributes to soil formation. And then so on. So our group's final answer is will be reported by Mr. Clares, one of my group mates. So Mr. Clares.
So first of all, I would like to greet everyone a pleasant afternoon. So according to the song, it says that weathering is important. Weathering is important because it is a process that contributes to the soil formation, and as we all know, based on the past lessons, that soil formation is very important for organisms to exist here in the earth. And soil is very important for plants to grow, which is essential to produce our food, humans, and also to produce the food of other animals. Another significance of weathering is that it, according to the song, is that it weakens the rocks. So because it weakens the rock, I think it makes it easier for us humans to exploit minerals within the rocks, and it helps us in mining and quarrying. And it is also a very important process because it helps in shaping of the Earth's surface. The change on the Earth is inevitable, and weathering is one of the concepts that support these statements. And as the rocks weather, the continuous change make up the surface of Earth. So,
That's right. Very good explanation, group number 5. So as I check here, you also have your answers from your members here. So very good also. So I'll be giving your group 12 over 12. All right. So we're done presenting all the groups. For group number 5, their question was, why is weathering an important Earth process? So it's important, just like what they said. That's correct. It's because weathering leads to soil formation. And without soil, there's no medium for plants to grow. Aside from that, weathering is also part of the rock cycle, right? Okay, so very good for all the groups. Congratulations, you were able to accomplish the activity that was given to you, and I think you are now experts and masters for the topic weathering. Now to check if you really mastered our lesson today about weathering, let's do this activity number 3. The title is Imposter or Master. All you have to do is analyze the statements given by the different characters. So they are claiming that they are master in weathering. Okay, so choose imposter if you think that the character is telling a false statement, and choose master if you think that he is telling you the correct statement. Okay, so we will do that in Nearpod. So I'll be sending the link here in the chat box. So go to that link and we will start with the poll. Once that everybody has already entered our Nearpod. If you can enter Nearpod, you can actually put your answers here in our chat box. I'll be checking it there later. So again, I already sent here the link for Nearpod. So there will be statements that you have to tell if the person or if the character is telling the truth or not, or if he or she is really a master of weathering. I can see 2 students. Okay, many are already entering. Right? So to save time, okay, to those who are already here, I will be starting the poll. Okay. So let's start with the first activity or the first statement. Again, if you were not able to enter the Nearpod, you can just type in your answers here. So the first statement is chemical weathering involves the transformation of the original minerals into new minerals in rocks. So is this character an imposter or a master? Please choose your answers. Last 10 seconds. There. How about the others? Last 5 seconds. Right. So 69% of the students answered master. So this statement is actually correct. So very good. 89.7% choose master. So this sentence here is correct. Why do you think this is correct? Why do you consider this character a master? Anyone who can explain? Yes, Cloris.
I think because in chemical weathering, there's a chemical reaction and there's a change in chemical composition of the rock. So I think there's a new minerals that will be formed.
That's correct. Okay, let's now go to the next statement. The next statement is weathering is generally a long and slow process. You can now type in your answers. I can see that most of you are already answering the letter B, master. Let me check those who are here in the Google Meet. So they typed in B earlier. Very good. They're also correct. So all of you answered 93.8% answered master. Okay, that's correct. So this statement is actually true. Why do you think so? Can someone explain? Yes, Nilyama.
Because weathering is a continuously repetitive process and yung rocks naman po is solid kaya hindi po siya ganun kaagad ma-breakdown or split apart.
That's right. So just like what I said earlier, weathering leads to soil formation, and soil really takes a long time to form, right? Okay, let's try the last statement here. So physical weathering changes the rock's mineral composition. So is this character an imposter or a master? So some of you are answering imposter. No one answered master. Let's see. 5 seconds more. Okay, time is up. So all of these 93.8% of the students 93.8% of the students chose imposter. Actually, this statement is false. So this character is an imposter. Why do you think so? Why is this a false statement? Yes, Kihano.
Because physical weathering only affects the physical appearance of the rock without affecting the chemical composition, like the taste, color, and the physical texture of the rock po.
Very good. So instead of physical weathering, it should be chemical weathering, right? Okay, thank you so much for participating in this near-pod activity. Now let's go to activity 4, and I call it the 7 wow or wonders of the world. So I have here pictures of the places that are considered wonders of the world. Can you name some of these 7 wonders of the world? Can you give me one? Yes, Flores.
The first picture, ma'am, it is Taj Mahal.
Yes, Taj Mahal in India. That's right. Another one. Yes, Diaz.
The image below the Taj Mahal is the Colosseum.
Yes, Colosseum. That's right. Right. So very good. You know some of the 7 wonders of the world. The others are Machu Picchu, right? This one. Christ the Redeemer. Sorry. Machu Picchu, Christ the Redeemer, right? And then Chichen Itza, right? We have Petra here and the Great Wall of China. Now, these are all wonders of the world, right? They are part of the history, and they have a very they have historical importance to us. But what could be the negative effect of weathering to these 7 wonders of the world? Will there be a negative effect? Yes, Pascual.
There can be a negative effect because weathering can wear off the rocks that make up these structures.
That's right. Okay, very good. So they can be weathered, and we, as much as we want to preserve these 7 wonders of the world, right? Because they hold historical importance to us. But since us humans, actually, we are doing some activities that speed up the weathering of landforms and rocks and all of these, and including these wonders of the world, right? So what are the activities that contribute to the speeding up of weathering? Yes, Kihano.
Some human activities that contribute in the weather speed up weathering is the industrialization and the simply consumption of fossil fuels po that will produce some hazardous chemical like nitric acid and sulfur dioxide po.
Very good, right? So when we do activities that give off fossil fuels, that give off greenhouse gases, when we burn fossil fuels, it gives off greenhouse gases that will cause acid rain to occur, right? So there are human activities that we should lessen so that we will not speed up weathering, which is actually a natural process, right? Very good. So now let's sum up everything that we have discussed today. So we have here a flow chart. We have here a flow chart. So all we have to do is to drag and drop the terms in their correct places, right? So who would like to try for the physical? Yes. Let me see. Yes, Ray, Mark Anthony. Yes,
Um,
Ray.
Hello. Can you hear me po, ma'am?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sa physical po, first po is abrasion po.
Mm-hmm.
Second po is biological activity. Third is frost wedging. And then the last one is salt crystal growth po.
Okay, we will see later if his answer is correct. How about for the chemical weathering? Yes, Gomez.
Dissolution, hydrolysis, and oxidation.
Oops. Hydrolysis and oxidation. Let's see if your answers are correct. Okay, so all of your answers are correct. Now, who can explain to us this flowchart here? Anyone? Yes, Camposano.
So weathering have a two process, ang physical and chemical. In physical, it only changed the physical appearance of the rock. So we have abrasion, frost wedging, biological activity, and salt crystal growth. While in chemical, it changed the chemical composition of the rocks, and we have dissolution, hydrolysis, and oxidation po.
Very good. And that is the summary of everything that we've discussed today. Now we will proceed to our quiz time. Okay. So all you have to do is to type in joinmyquiz.com and enter this game code, or you can also enter in our quiz through this link that I'll be sending in our chat box there. So I'll be waiting for the participants for this quizzes. So you are 41, right? In our class today. So you may now enter quizzes. I also sent to you the link here in our chat box. You can click that so that you can join this quiz. There. So I can see 24 have already joined, 27. How about the others? 30, 10 more, or 11 more? Yeah, 10 more students. 32. Okay, how about the 9 students? Okay. Go ahead and enter the link or enter this game code here. So of course, all the questions will be about weathering and the things that we have discussed for today. This is just a 5-item quiz. Let's see. So our goal is, if not 80% accuracy, I hope that we could get 100% accuracy for today. And I'll be giving recitation points, recitation badges to the top three students in our leaderboard. So 37, we're still waiting for how many students? We're still waiting for 4 students. So I'll give you 2 minutes to enter. If not, I will just be posting another quiz in the Google Classroom, which you can take, okay? So that you can test if you really learned in from our session today. So last 2 minutes to enter. If you will not be able to enter, we will start with the quiz. $37, 4 more. There. Okay, so again, to those who will not be able to join or are having a hard time joining, I'll just be posting another quiz in our Google Classroom later, so don't worry, okay? So let's start the quiz. Eight seconds more. 5 seconds. Okay, everybody is done. Let's see the leaderboard. Okay, it's Miranda. Okay, next. One more student to answer. Last 5 seconds. All right, time is up. There, okay. So who is our Leaderboard. Okay, we have Miranda again. Next. Two more students are still answering. Okay, everybody is done. Let's see. Okay, next. Okay, all done. Okay, next. Three more students to answer. All done. Let's see. We will now see who are the people in our leaderboard. So for question number 1, 33 got the correct answer. Oh, sorry. There. Okay. So let's see the leaderboard. So the ranking is for the third place, we have Abringe. And for the second place, we have Miranda. And for the first place, we have Nicole Diaz. So Nicole Diaz got the highest score in our quiz for today. Congratulations to the 3 students. So if you got scores 1 to 3, this will be your remedial activity. I'll be checking later those who got a score of 1 to 3. So all you have to do is to watch the 2 videos below and accomplish the worksheets that are already attached in the Google Classroom. Okay, so just click the link and then watch the videos and answer the worksheet. Attach your answered worksheet in the Google Classroom. To those who got 4 to 5 as their scores, you can do this assignment, access this game, okay, or simulation. This will be posted in the Google Classroom also. Take a screenshot after you finish the game and submit it together with your answers to the following questions or your answers to this sentence completion activity. So I discovered that weathering is, I discovered that weathering is not. All right. So any question for your assignment or for your remedial activity? None. Okay, none. Very good.
None
So
po.
you did great today. Congratulations. So today you identified changes that took place to rocks, landforms because of weathering. You also differentiated physical and chemical weathering. You also explained how each type of weathering changes the rock's properties, expressed realization of the positive and negative effects of weathering, and lastly, you participated well in all the activities in our class and in our group activity. So thank you so much for doing great today and congratulations. STEM Darwin. Again, do you have any other questions or clarifications before we part ways? None? All right. So again, thank you so much for attending the class today. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. You may now leave the Google meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank you
ma'am.
po.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you po,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay po.
Thank you po.
Thank you so much. And I think the observers will go to the other room So see you in the closing.
Thank you po. Thank you so much po.
Thank you po. Permission to leave.
Permission to leave din po.
Congratulations po, ma'am.